Stay calm, mortal. I understand your panic, but you're safe for the moment. Oh, or is it me? If you don't mind me asking, what do I look like to you? Ah, I see. That's not too surprising. You see, well, I'm death. Yes, I know I look different to what mortals often depict me as. The skeleton with the scythe and so on. The truth is, I look different to everyone. My appearance is based on how you'll die. Or in your case, how you're currently dying. You're disoriented right now, but you'll soon remember your accident. I'm afraid that the gun you were inspecting was, in fact, loaded. Your friend wasn't as careful as he let on. It's not what you mortals would consider a good death, but it seems that it's yours. Death comes to everyone eventually, so I don't see the point in worrying so much about how exactly it came about. Technically, you're not quite dead yet. You're in your last moments. I've stopped time so that we can talk. I don't do this for every mortal that dies, but sometimes one catches my interest. Usually people who have done a lot with their life. It's interesting to see what people like that do when they realize that it's all over. Especially ones that hurt a lot of people in pursuit of wealth and power. With all their possessions gone, all that's left is guilt and regret. But I must be confusing you. I know you haven't hurt a great many people, nor have you done quite a lot with your life, if only because it was so short. There's a different reason that I'm interested in you. That's... well, I'm afraid I'm in a bit of an awkward position there. I'm not really supposed to talk to mortals about this type of thing. It's Force's business. My apologies. When I say forces, I mean the forces of the universe. Embodiments of the forces that drive all of reality. I am, of course, death. I have a counterpart named life. And there are many others. Chaos, light, heat, and so on. At any rate, it's been agreed not to speak of this to mortals. I apologize for the inconvenience. But well, I think I can say this much. We think there's something unusual about your soul. Something that might be important for a lot of reasons. Souls are my purview, so I'm here to find out if that is actually the case. Ideally, I'd like to proceed with your permission. You're not actually under my jurisdiction yet, so I can't rightfully force anything on you. But the soul experiences serious stress upon death, and if your soul gets damaged, it might be too late for me to do my tests. I was afraid of that. You want to make a deal then? You mortals always do. I'm not usually at liberty to make deals. Everyone wants to be an exception to death. But I can't disrupt your soul's journey just because you ask. There are plenty of things that can go wrong when someone dies but doesn't actually die. But I did come here with the intent to offer you something. I can't guarantee an exception. But if I find what I'm looking for, then it might be warranted. If you refuse, then I'll just have to leave and you'll pass on. I thought you might. Well, good. To start, I just have a few questions. First, just to clarify some things. Name? Okay, good. Age? Occupation? Actually, forget that. I don't really need that. I don't know why they put that here. Okay. Now here come the real questions. Have you ever experienced a serious case of deja vu? As in, you were so certain you'd seen something before, it bothered you for days. How about this? Did you ever find yourself staring at something for several minutes, just to discover that it wasn't really there? Could you elaborate? I see. And without thinking about it for very long, about how many grains of sand would you estimate exist in all of the world's beaches? That's interesting. Oh, well, I can't tell for certain, but it's possible you're what I was looking for. I was hoping for a conclusive answer through quick questions, but... Oh, it's just that if I want to go any further, I'll have to, open your soul, I suppose you'd say. I'm afraid it's a very unpleasant experience. And what's more, there's risk of permanent damage. Naturally, I do know what I'm doing, but I'd be lying if I said that there wasn't a chance that something could go wrong. Well, if there were permanent damage, it could have all kinds of effects on your afterlife. Your ability to think or perceive what's around you could be hampered. You might experience severe mood swings. You might even become unable to enter the afterlife altogether. All of these things are possible upon death. But what I'm proposing will carry a somewhat higher risk. The forces would resent it if I let you back out. But I know more than anyone that the soul is sacred. If you want to stop here, you'll have a better chance of being able to move on to the next world peacefully. If anything should go wrong, it will stay that way forever. You can risk it if you'd prefer. Remember, me finding what I'm looking for is your only chance at returning to life. But you will die eventually. It may not be worth it to risk your afterlife for a few more decades of life. Although you're the only one who can decide that. I realize how difficult this must be. I witness people at the end of their lives every day, It's the hardest thing a person can endure, and setting this choice in front of you makes it harder for you than for most. There is absolutely no rush. You have literally all of the time in the world to process this. Me? I'm the wrong person to ask. I was never mortal, so I don't really know what it's like to be alive. I suppose because I see people continue on after death, I don't particularly value life. But it's different from the afterlife. The afterlife is constant, peaceful, but unchanging. Life is where things happen. You mortals always treasure it, even when it's over. Perhaps there's a good reason why. You've reached a conclusion. Are you sure? You can take more time if you need to, of course. Very well. What did you decide? I see. And you're certain that you want to take the risk? Interesting. Very interesting. Well then, we'd best get started. Now this won't be enjoyable. It won't hurt exactly, but the soul is the most fundamental, most private part of you. When I start poking through it, it will feel, well, violating. I promise I won't take any longer than I need to, but you'll need to endure it for a while. Now, hold still for me. Do your best to mentally relax. It will make the process smoother. So, what are we working with? Not quite as pure as I expected. No judgments, that's not my job. That actually makes things easier. Anyway, provides some contrast, you might say. Now, what's this? Is that? No, wait. Maybe. Oh. My apologies. That's getting a little deeper than I need to. We don't need to pry that open. Here we go. Your spirit cord. Everything runs through here. I can find out quite a lot without having to peer more deeply. No need to worry. I think we can safely rule out the worst possible side effects. Your soul is strong, with few abnormalities. Although I suppose you're hoping for abnormalities. At least one specific kind. Oh, now that's... Yes, I think that's it. I'm going to trim a piece off for study. Don't worry, it's more of a growth than a vital part of you. You won't miss it. Now I can close you up. Well, this is good news for you. I did indeed find what I was looking for. Yes, this little thing is what all this fuss was about. Funny, isn't it? Well, I did tell you I couldn't talk much about it, but to tell the truth, I don't know exactly what it is. None of the forces do, which is what caught our interest. But now that I'm looking right at it, Could it possibly? No, surely not. I'm afraid I may need to temporarily alter the deal. I need to speak to the rest of the forces about this. This might be something unprecedented. I hope I'll be able to fulfill my promise and return you to life, but for the time being I need to keep you here, paused in your last moments. I'm gonna put you into a stasis, sort of like a dreamless sleep. When you wake, I'll be back with some more definitive answers. For what it's worth, you deserve better. I'll vouch for you, I swear it. Good night.